Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? This is Enrique Sanchez, Spanish United. Today we have a very special guest. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Sorry, what did you say?
I said, would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to the audience,
Oh,
please?
yes, I will. Sorry about that. My name is Liane Mende Mueller, and I am a German citizen. I am the president of the House of Germany, and this is located in San Diego in Balboa Park. And we could continue with other questions.
Perfect. Dankeschön for being on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
As we spoke over the phone, I had caught my interest that there are many different houses that are in the Balboa Park area. I myself am of Puerto Rican background, and I had
Mhm.
recently had an interview with the House of Norway, and I contacted also the House of Puerto Rico, which I'm going to be hopefully be interviewing them soon. Spanish and I would like to know more about the House of Germany, how long it's been established, what is the purpose, and what is it that you do in terms of the community?
Yes, let me get started with time of establishment. We are in existence since 1935, and the purpose of our organization, the organization is the House of Pacific Relations. Pacific stands for peaceful, is to demonstrate that all of our nations, and these are 31 nations working together, and that we can work peacefully together. It has the idea of the United Nations. It was founded approximately at the same time as the United Nations. So we will actually not engage in any sectarian or religious discussions, but we would like to bring our cultures and traditions closer to the public in San Diego and to any tourist that happens to visit the villages.
Nice, awesome. As
Mhm.
for Spanish United, I started this organization in 2020. And the whole focus of Spanish United is uniting all Hispanic people, regardless of nationality or color, because all Hispanic people from Mexico, the Caribbean to South America and to Spain, we're all the same family. We're all Spanish speaking people. We're all part of La Hispanidad or Hispanic people. And we do a lot of outreach in promoting Hispanic unity, Hispanic culture, trying to dispel any myths or stereotypes people may have of Hispanic people. And at the same time, we do a lot of community work and helping the homeless, helping the poor. Um, right now, we are in the process of trying to establish the funds to get a community center because I'm based here in the Los Angeles area. And we also have spoken with many different cultures as well. Like a few months ago, I spoke with the Taiwanese community. I've spoken with the Uyghur community. I've spoken with many different communities out there. And the whole purpose of it is to have a better establishment of engagement. So that way, any stereotypes or prejudices may be eased and having a better relationship with other people at large.
Yes, and I would like to put also, in addition, that our membership is not only comprised of German descending members. Everybody who is interested in the German culture can join and can learn. And we do have a language program as well. So it is open to everybody who is interested in the culture.
Nice, perfect. And since the pandemic, like how was the House of Germany able to survive and keep itself functioning? I'm curious to know about that.
Of course, one of the major functions that we have is socially to get together. We have several groups that meet every week. We have a choir. This was a big impact on our choir because they were not able to practice anymore and get together. And it was for our other group, which is just a social group, meeting and drinking coffee and eating cake, for instance. And so what we try to do is set up a functioning Zoom system and keep in contact through our monthly meetings. The House of Pacific Relations has a monthly meeting, and it was all a learning process for all of us because we were not set up to do electronic meetings in the beginning, but we went ahead. We all had to learn, and now that system still works in parallel to our real-time meetings. So yes, it was difficult, but we hung in there and we're still there.
Nice. So all of these different houses that are in Balboa Park, are they like right next to each other, all these cultural centers?
We have one concentration that is off Park Boulevard, President's Way. We have 31 different nations and ethnic groups because we cannot call ourselves only nations. We have a House of Scotland, for instance, but we also have a House of England. And they are all concentrated. It looks a little bit like we're around the lawn area in a circle, and you can find us there. It's very close to the Spanish village that's also in existence in Balboa Park, which houses artists. That is our artist colony, and we have our ethnic villages in next door.
Nice, that's awesome. I've been to San Diego many times, but I've never been to Balboa Park. So possibly one of these days, I would like to pass by and see what it's like. I would love to know more about the House of Germany and what you do.
Yeah. Visit us on the weekend. We are open Saturdays and Sundays from 11 to 4, and you will be able to visit the different cottages, talk to the hosts. We will serve some ethnic tidbits, some cakes, whatever the houses think they should serve as an ethnic food will be available, and it's of no charge.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
But we do expect a little bit of a donation to cover our expenses.
Oh, of course, that's obvious. It's the same thing with Spanish United. Like
Mhm.
most of the services that we offer, we cover, out of our own resources, and you don't have to pay to be a member, but of course, donations are appreciated, and whatever
Mhm.
donations we receive, they are tax deductible, and whatever is given is used to help those in the in the community that are in need. And that's basically
Mm.
what we do. Aside from being a civil rights organization, we're also a charity organization. We
Yeah.
try to look after those that are going through difficult times, and they don't and people don't have to be Hispanic to be helped. Like, we help
Oh,
everyone.
wonderful. Yeah, that is very commendable. Yes, we have such efforts too, especially lately with the House of Ukraine. They have started a large donation campaign, and people can go and can donate in any way for their efforts to keep their country free. So yes, it's actually very important that at times of peril, like we also had lately a problem with Turkey and the huge earthquake there,
Hmm.
that we start campaigns to help the victims of such catastrophes. I wanted to add too that our organization is a 501(c)(4 organization. So we are uh, actually only able to raise funds twice a year, and we have special occasions for that. We have a yearly lawn program where our groups are presenting. We have a choir who will be singing, and we have German dancers and German music normally, and other entertaining programs. We will at that point be able to sell our German food, normally brat, sauerkraut in a bun, brat in a bun and sauerkraut. And people really like to come to these lawn programs. Every nation or ethnic group will present. We have also a young group of ladies. We call them our queens, represent our houses, and they also will engage in social work. They will clean up beaches, go to charitable organizations, help out in soup kitchens. So that is another effort to help the local community.
Nice. One of the things that we do in Spanish United is that we have workshops where we try to encourage a lot of the youth, particularly a lot of people, to be generous and to give to the community. And by giving doesn't necessarily mean giving money, but also means donating their time, volunteering. Um, because the stereotype that many people have of Hispanics is that we take and we don't give. And I'm trying to dispel that through educating our community that, you know, we should also give back because we live
Mhm.
here, we're part of the community. And at the same time, working together with different organizations and different communities, so that way there can be a better mutual understanding between different groups, because I think it's very important. And I also try to encourage the Hispanic community to try to preserve their language, preserve their culture, because right now, because of, you know, the climate that we're living in right now, there's a lot of pressure of Hispanic people to assimilate. So you know, I try to encourage many Hispanics to try to at least learn the Spanish language, to try to be educated in what their history is, what their culture is. And, you know, even though we're living in the United States, you know, it's always good to try to maintain of some sort of identity. So I think that is very important. So that's what we try to do in Spanish United.
That is actually how I came to the House of Germany. My son was just 6 years old when we came to San Diego, and I was looking for an opportunity for him to continue learning the German language. He was in an age where he didn't want to learn it necessarily. He didn't want to be much different from other children in school. So the House of Germany actually offers German language classes for children. And so we joined the House of Germany because of these classes. And every Friday we would go, and he would learn German. And we have trained German teachers there who will teach the language. We also have an interest to build up an adult German language group. And I encourage anybody who wants to learn German to inquire at the House of Germany, and we will set up classes.
Nice. I wanted to ask you a question about the German classes. I know that Germany speaks German, but I know that Austria,
Mhm.
Switzerland, Liechtenstein, I think Luxembourg, they also speak German. So my question is, do they have like different dialects or accents of German, or you could all understand their German the same? Forgive me for asking.
There is hundreds of different accents. It's very similar to Spain, I believe, that when I come out from Berlin, this is capital of the country. When I go south to the capital of Bavaria, for instance, they speak a German dialect that I have a hard time understanding. But all German-speaking countries have decided that in schools there should be one form of German taught, and we call it High German. And
Mm.
everybody will be able to communicate by High German with each other. Although I must say I have Swiss friends, and they also know High German, but when they speak Swiss German, then I speak English to them.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've known people from Austria that speak German, and to me,
Mhm.
the German Austrian and the German from Germany to me sounds more identical than the other forms of German.
Oh, there's very strong dialects in Austria as well. I know that I'm a tourist throughout all Austria, and I do know there's areas that are very hard to understand.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to ask, have you had many like Hispanic visitors go to the House of Germany like at any time? Has there been any outreach with the Hispanic community in San Diego?
Oh, yes, yes. Every Sunday, at least when I'm hosting, there is so many people coming through this park, and we are so close to Mexico that we have so many Hispanic visitors. And most interesting, many of them make remarks about the picture I have hung up in the cottage, which is the fall of the Berlin Wall. It's very close to my memory, and it's my hometown, and they all tell me that they don't like the wall.
Why?
So we have discussions, although we are not engaging in any political things, but it's a historical thing, and it's an historical event that really was important for us German people.
Right, of course, but but I don't understand why. You know, it's like everyone wanted the wall to fall down.
No, no, walls are not in our picture. We want to actually break down walls.
Ah, okay, I understood. Because I
Yeah.
remember I was 6 years old when the wall came down and I saw it on the news.
Mhm. Yeah. It was really something that was not anticipated by many Germans.
Right, right. A lot of people thought it was going to be there forever.
Yes, I grew up with separated Berlin as a child, and I left in 1980, and the wall came down in 1989. So I was actually in Wisconsin when it happened, but on the telephone with my mother, and she actually described it to me.
Wow. So were you at that time, were you in East Berlin or West Berlin?
West Berlin. You
Ah,
could not get out of East Berlin at the time. Yeah.
wow, that's really
Travel was very restricted to the East German population.
I could imagine.
Mhm.
I remember reading about that when I was in school, when I was in the first grade.
Mhm. Yeah, it was wonderful when finally the families could get together again. But during the long years, we had separated in many ways, and our habits to living in a communistic system is quite different than living in a Western system.
Oh, of course, it's two different
Yeah,
things. I was actually
yeah.
in Cuba last year, and
Oh,
Cuba and
wow,
Puerto
yeah.
Rico are very similar cultures because they were both
Yeah,
Spanish
yeah.
colonies, but the histories are different. But one thing being in Cuba is like it's like going back in time 60 years.
They have these these vintage cars still 60 years and older.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the thing that got me is that I'm surprised that Cuba has not collapsed. With because communism has already collapsed in other countries and they're still
Mhm,
going.
mhm. Well, I honestly think the intentions were good in the beginning, but the people are didn't do what the initial intentions were. So
Correct.
anybody can take advantage out of a system. Don't have a person get too powerful, I think.
I agree with you, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I definitely agree with. And I also wanted to ask one more thing before we go, because we only have a few more minutes left. I saw this castle that's well known in Germany. If I'm
Uh-huh.
correct me if I'm pronouncing it right, it's called the Neuenstein Castle.
No, it's called Neuschwanstein.
Neuenstein, yes.
Neuschwanstein.
Neuschwanstein.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, can you explain a little bit about that castle? Because it's the first time I actually hear of it. So, what's its history?
Okay. I can tell you that at this castle, although it looks very impressive and very pretty, it's not a real castle. It is built in the 19th century. The Bavarian king at the time, Bavaria used to be a kingdom. Ludwig, I think Ludwig II. Now I don't know which Ludwig, but it was a Ludwig, King Ludwig. Was a dreamer. He loved sagas and fairy tales, so he built himself a fairy tale castle. And it is a huge building project on top of a mountain. You wouldn't believe it. It has a very picturesque situation overlooking an alpine lake, and on the other side, high Alps, high mountains. And he decided to put his fairy tale castle there. His parents lived already in a real castle opposite of that location. And he started this huge building project. In the meantime, he built some, oh, I don't know, 8 to 10 other huge castles in Bavaria. And at that point, the Bavarian coffers were empty. So the Bavarian people declared him insane. And they
Mm.
put him in a sanatorium. And one morning he was found at a lake, drowned together with his medical doctor, his psychologist
Oh, wow.
or psychiatrist. I don't know who it was. It was his personal doctor.
Right.
They and nobody knows what happened.
Oh,
But
those are things that happen. But the
yeah,
reason why
it's a mystery still to up to now. Nobody knows what happened to him, but I believe that somebody did want to get rid of him because he was spending too much money.
I can imagine. The reason why
Yeah.
I asked about the castle because I had bought a puzzle of a month ago,
Oh,
and I made
yes.
it, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
And it's beautiful if you can go and visit it. Visits, you find grottos in there and very fairy tale type of furniture and stuff. He was never able to finish it, so one floor is still empty.
Well, hopefully one of these days I'll visit. I was in Europe
Yeah.
last year. I went to Norway, I went to Finland, I went to
Mhm.
Britain, but I never got a chance to go to Germany. So hopefully
Yeah,
one of these days I'll go.
one country you can find real castles is England.
Oh, of course.
There are lots of castles there, but this one is a special one. It is different.
I can imagine. Well, we've come to the end of our time. I wanted to tell you, Lan, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate
Mhm.
taking your time. So when I'm done, I will email you the link, and you can share it to the House of Germany.
Okay, thank you very much. And I wish you luck with your Spanish United. And I hope you can actually visit San Diego and see all the different cottages. We have many Spanish speaking cottages. There's a House of Spain as well. You should visit and see what they have planned. They have Spanish days every year. So they have events that are very interesting.
Yeah, so I'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you so much, and have yourself a
Mhm.
wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you
Take care.
very much.
Bye bye.